Hey, I'm gonna walk you through the steps I used to buy this house. I'm also gonna walk you through a thought process I used to decide on if I was gonna rent it or if I was gonna sell it. The whole process started while I was at work. I was in the meeting and I got a notification from Zillow about a potential investment property. So from that notification, I started to analyze the deal. That means number one, looking at the neighborhood, trying to find out what's my comps. So looking at the comps in that neighborhood, I seen that they had three comps that range from 210 to 230, and my list price of the home I was looking at was 175. After getting my comps, that's when I start looking through the photos to try to figure out the repair costs. So now I have my comps, I have my repair costs, and I put both those things together and I find out my ARV, my after repair value. So because I'm a long-term investor, I also have to run comps as a rental property. So I'll go on Zillow, I look up three similar homes, and I see what they're going for. And I use those numbers to compare what my house might rent for. It might sound like a lot, but all that happens in like 5 minutes. We got all this information, we're gonna take it, we're gonna put it into a calculator and really see what we come up with. So when I zoom in on this deal analysis, remember the list price was 175, buy offer 160. The closing cost was around 3,000. The rehab cost 25,000. The total project cost about 187,000, and the ARV, the after repair value, will be 250. The rehab time will be about 3 months, and if I decided to do a cash out refi, that will be about 6 months. So let's back up 1 second. The list price was 175 and I offer 160. A lot of times people are nervous about making those type of offers because they think they're gonna make the seller angry. But what you gotta remember is you took time to run your numbers to come up with a number that actually worked for you. So that's the number that you want to put out there. So if I was to turn this house into a rental property after the rehab was done, I get 2.2% on my cash on cash return, and I get $112 in monthly cash flow. So I wouldn't say that this is a good investment. Now if I did a cash out refinance after 6 months, usually that makes your cash on cash return goes up. But in this case, you'll see that it's a negative 29, so it also isn't a good idea to use this as a rental property. So one more way to look at it is over long term, and you'll see if I sold this house in 1 year, I have 39,000. So I decided to go the route of buying this house to fix it up and sell it. So I'm like 15 minutes into the process. I'm going back and forth with my agent, sharing information, and she's sharing information with me, and we decided to make an offer. So after she typed up paperwork, the offer is submitted, and I think the next day the offer was accepted. So now our inspection period starts. We go see the house for the first time. So I walk in the house and I feel like I hit a gold mine. The seller has boxes everywhere. They are ready to move. They have already been packing. There's damage to the house that's visible, that's easy for both of us to see. So they already know they have issues with the house. They already know that they should be selling at a discount. As I'm walking through the property, I'm taking a video of everything with my phone so I can have a reference document that I can always go back to. I'm also putting together a high level scope of work. So as I'm walking through the property, I'm making a list of the things that I want done to the property so I could hand over to a contractor. After I finish making my initial scope of work with my agent, that's when I go home and I type everything up and watch the video to see what other details I need to add to that scope of work so I can walk through the same house with my contractor. As the investor, there's the money side, there's also the people side. So this seller is ready to move on, and for him to move on, he needs to be able to sell his house. So me as the investor, I'm the potential solution to his problem. Hey, do me a favor, leave your initial thoughts about this house in the comments below. And if you're getting value from this, make sure you smash that like button. Fast forward, I close on the property and the rehab begins. During the rehab process, I'm at work. My contractor and his team is taking care of everything. I'm buying the material and he's providing the labor. Before my contractor started work, I wrote up a written agreement that showed the detailed scope of work, that shows how each payment was going to be made, and that shows all the milestones that had to be finished before any payment was made. And it also laid out who was responsible for material and who was responsible for labor. I will keep up with the progress of the rehab by checking the job after work, and also by having my contractors send me pictures, and also from time to time small videos of the work that's been done at the house. So after the rehab was done, let me show you the final product. So this is the before and after pictures. So we kept everything on a tight budget, so we didn't go crazy. We didn't, really theme it out like you might see on TV on some of these TV shows. We kept everything simple, made sure everything was clean, nice looking, and inviting to any new potential buyers for this house. Overall, it was a big difference from the before and after. So after the rehab was done, me and my agent got together, we went over the comps, and we decided to list the house at $250. In our first week, we had a lot of showings, but we only had one offer came in. And that offer was at $230. So we decided to wait a little bit to try to see if we could get a higher offer. In our second week, we had an offer come in at $250. So we accepted that offer, and we began the process of selling the house. So one thing about the last offer, the seller wanted $8,000 towards closing. So we did decide to move forward with that deal, because before that offer came in, we was actually talking about maybe should we reduce the list price to attract more buyers. Alright, so let's look at the financial summary. So our purchase price was $160. Our closing costs, which is two components, it's our closing fees and our prepays, is about $7,000. Our rehab cost is $26,000. Our holding cost $4,600, and our sales cost at $249. You back out your closing costs and your attorney fees, and you're at $231. And our total profit is $33,000. This video was focused on walking you through the process from start to finish of buying our investment property and selling it off. Now, if you want to understand how we scale our business, check out this video.